What's up YouTube, it's Brazilian here with another YouTube video. I appreciate all the support that I received on my last video. In today's video we're going to be talking about the Warzone settings that I use and why I use them. So let's get straight into the video. And once you're at this page and you're ready to start Call of Duty, you want to press the options button in the bottom left. This will bring up the settings. As I'm normally on controller, we won't go over the mouse and keyboard settings, although from default these are pretty good anyway. Once you're in the General tab, the first thing you should see if you're on PC is Field of View. If you don't want to watch through all of this and the explanation between each setting, just pause it and note down the settings. So Field of View you want 120. This gives you extra view compared to console. There's a little hidden setting under the advanced. This means that when you're zoomed in under the new Field of View, it almost looks like you have no recoil. It means you'll hit them shots better and play better. Let's move on to the next setting. Brightness, fairly straightforward. As we go down the settings, you'll see an accessibility section. I've got it on this just so that the sky is a bit more popping, because on Warzone you seem to get kind of a very grey sky. If you put this setting on and both, it means it targets both the skies, all of the colours. As we've moved down this list, take note of the settings, compare them to yours. There's a few things here that you could disable, like the gore, if you're not you don't want to see that on the screen. But here's a few settings that you get on PC that you probably won't see on console. So this shows your FPS. This can be very helpful to see if you've got any applications running in the background that are limiting your FPS. And it can show your packet loss. So if you're getting like connectivity issues, you just have to look up the top and you get to see if you're getting any packet loss to see if it's on your end rather on the server end. I think that closes up this section, so we're going to move on to the graphics section. Like I've said before, these settings are what's best for me, although these are very good settings, so start with these and adjust accordingly. There's a few kind of hidden bits on here that I want to show you, just so that you get the best out of your graphics card and out of the game. With the render resolution, you want to start at about 100, depending on how good your graphics card is, and start increasing from there. 100 is a very good base point to start. So this is where the FPS comes in. I set mine to custom. Here's a few settings to note. Basically, I'm on a 144 refresh rate monitor. So I've set mine at 160 because my graphics card could easily handle that. And I've done a couple of other settings here that can really help performance. Scrolling down, once you've got to the point where you're happy with all your settings, you're going to want to restart your shaders installation. I've done this a couple of times and it can actually help performance once you've set everything to how you want to set it. So what I've gone for an aesthetic look, but also a performance. Mine is more targeted towards performance to get higher frames, to have a smoother game, just to give me that little bit more of an advantage over other players. So I'll show you those now. So my texture resolution, because I like things to look a bit more kind of smooth, I've gone for a normal texture resolution. As you can see, the lower you go, it all starts to look a bit old. It looks a bit kind of out of detail. Each setting will have a little preview of what it does, and that can really help. But I've gone for low on that because I'm generally not looking at the floor, so I don't need that setting. Particle quality, you don't really notice it, so I've kept that low. Bullets, that's another personal preference. I don't need to see the bullets on the wall. If it's going to give me that little bit more of an advantage, I'll disable it, so I have. Moving down, streaming quality, I've left that to normal. I like to have the shadows as normal. Spot shadows you don't need, cast shun shadows. I've turned these on, I've turned them off. There's not really that much of a difference. Particle lighting, as you can see there, there's not as much difference between the two. Ray tracing disabled, got that disabled too, and that's on low as well. Depth of field, as you can see here, I'd rather have it disabled because I don't want to have it blurring all my gun. I want all of my gun to be in focus. I find it helps me. Filmic strength, as you can see there, it just gives like almost a fuzzy effect. I don't want a fuzzy effect. I want to be focused. I want to see the enemy. I want to be engaged and ready to go. A lot of these, like motion blur and weapon blur, I don't want the world to blur when I move. I want it to be clear. As you can see in the picture, the first one with the disabled looks much better. If there's an enemy in one of the windows, you're more likely to see him in the first image than you are on the second. I've disabled it for that reason. Weapon motion blur, it's the same thing. When I'm seeing enemies, I want to be able to see the sight. I want to be able to zoom in and not get that blur. So I've disabled that as well. As you can see there, that's the film grain effect. It just makes the game look worse in my opinion. So I've disabled that as well. Just turn that to 0. Straight onto the audio. I would suggest that you put this on home theatre. It gives you a better kind of a spatial awareness. You can hear footsteps better, and it can really help improve your game. Because I run with a controller, these are my settings on PC. I know a lot of people will think, oh, why you run with a controller? You've got a PC, play keyboard and mouse. For me personally, Call of Duty has always been a controller game for me. I know my way around the controller. I feel like I get an advantage over the keyboard and mouse. It's just personal preference. I'm going to go over my controller settings and hopefully this helps you. These two I've only increased by 1 because I like a slower movement. So I've gone for a preciser movement, but also a bit faster because we're normally on a default of 4, but 5 kind of that sweet spot. A lot of the pros run 6. There's a few settings here that really will help you, like the aim response curve. I've tried each one of these, and dynamic, it seems like it almost gives you an advantage, I would say. You could try standard, you could try linear, but dynamic, it just seems right. Moving on to controller vibrations, I don't like distractions. So when I'm shooting or people are shooting me, I don't like that vibrating. If we're going over bumps or anything like that, I don't like the controller to react like that. I just like to be focused on the game. So personally, I find that having that disabled helps, but some people really like the vibration. That is just a personal preference as well. Aim assist is on standard. I've changed this to precision for a long time and I did like it, but I felt like other people had an advantage over me, so I've switched it back to standard. As we scroll down, there's some better settings here that will really help you. Use and reload behavior. This can help when picking up items from the floor. Instead of like holding to pick them up, you can run, just press X and it'll pick that item up so you can carry on running. Slide behavior is on tap for me because I like that tactical sprint and I like to slide cancel. So that means that when I'm running, I can tap to slide, quickly cancel again, and then carry on my tactical sprint. You've probably seen a lot of pro players use this to get around the map faster. The reason it's faster is because you're able to cancel that tactical sprint as it's about to wear off and then restart the tactical sprint. That's why people slide cancel. Moving down, these are both default for me. I haven't changed them. Over to account, have a quick look through the settings in here, although there's nothing really to change. I hope the settings in this video helped you get better. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe and turn the post notifications on to see when my next video is. Thanks for watching.